Before you go into every single appointment, you need to sit and you need to go through and figure out your medical history, and you need to write that down, create a timeline, and also list your medications and supplements, right?
So correct. This is one of the 5 things that I like to tell people to do to train their doctor, right? This is like training your dragon. The dragon may go around and spit fire if you don't help them stay focused and really do what you want, right? And I think one of the most effective ways to save time and energy in your appointment is to get all the background stuff done and dusted
Yeah.
quickly. And that means coming in with a list of especially your active medications, which ones they are by name, what the dose is, how you take them. That includes vitamins, supplements, and anything over the counter, right? Aspirin is over the counter. Sometimes it's a prescription, but most people buy it as Bayer aspirin over the counter. Please make sure that if that's something you're taking every day, you have that written down and maybe carry it with you. Many people find that valuable. Also, your history. That includes any medical diagnoses and any procedures or operations that you've had. Please have the dates and where they were done if they were not done in that system. And I understand this is such a point of frustration for patients because they say, well, doc, it's in my chart. I know it is, but you have
But you
thousands
have like
of
1,000
records,
patients. Yes.
thousands of records in that chart. And if it wasn't done in the last year, it's going to
See?
take 5, 10 minutes to go find it and figure out, maybe it was scanned. Maybe those were the days before we had an electronic medical record. So now it's a scan and now I have to read handwriting. That just takes away from your time talking to me, hearing about your problem, your diagnosis, and my plan. And so if you want to get the most out of the brief time that we have together, getting all that stuff taken care of, written down in order so that we can skip on to the more important stuff is the best way to make that time count.
And it's a Cliff Notes version that you can just hand them and say, here you go. This is an entire timeline. And
Yes,
should it
absolutely.
include complications? We had a patient that ended up having some sort of, and I know this may be rare, but a flesh-eating bacteria at one point following a procedure, and that ended up coming back to bite that person and the surgeon in a different case going forward, where that surgeon did not know that there was some sort of history of this type of complication, which is serious, and the patient ended up losing their leg because of it.
Oh my.
It was
Yeah.
very sad. So it's important that they do make sure, especially if you are in there talking about a potential procedure coming up, that if you have had any complications, that you do write those down as well.
Absolutely. Complications are an important part of that history and also something you're probably concerned about as a patient. So this brings up my next point, which is please, if you have fears, questions, concerns, things you are absolutely sure you want addressed in that appointment, lead with that. Bring that up early because if we go through 13 minutes of your 15-minute appointment with me and you leave that to the end, by the way, doc, I'm really afraid that the bacteria I had at my last operation might be a problem. Well, now I have to refocus, and I'm not going to be able to make sure that I get that question completely addressed in our last 2 minutes together. And, of course, when that happens, I will take time and answer the question, but, then we're behind and then it becomes, a pressured situation. And the easiest, most effective way to make sure you get your concerns addressed is to start with that when you show up, right?